Today is a nice, chill, relaxing Sunday in the shop. Of course, we're going to be continuing the work on the final edition Evo 10. Today, we're going to be going through the entire subframe steering rack control arm assembly. And I might dive in and do some stuff with the knuckles. I'll save the brakes for another day just because I have no idea what the accent color is going to be with the octane blue. I don't know if we're going to keep the red or maybe change it up a little bit, but I might do the knuckles today. So here is how this subframe looks before. By the end of the video, it's going to look like this. As you can see, it is not in good shape whatsoever. Some grease down in there. Subframe had brake fluid leaking on it from the brake reservoir, had a little leak in it, is leaking on the subframe, peeled all the paint off there. And of course, the rest of it is just dirty and grimy. It is out of a low mileage car. I know it doesn't look like it because it's filthy, but I think it's all gonna clean up really, really nicely. The first thing we're gonna do is completely disassemble. We're gonna pull off the lower control arms, remove the sway bar, remove this here rear transmission mount, and pull off the steering rack. All right, we got everything dismantled and disassembled. Subframe, the front knuckles, I went ahead and pulled the brakes off of those, sway bar, rack, control arms. Let's start off with getting everything cleaned up. All of the parts and pieces are cleaned up. I did go ahead and hit these aluminum lower control arms with aluminum brightener. I should have done a time lapse because it was a tremendous transformation. Now, if this was a full-on restoration, which you guys know it's not, it's a rebuild, not a full resto like the yellow Evo was. But if it was a full resto, all of these parts would be stripped, sandblasted, and repowder coated, or zinc plated, or Cerakoted, some sort of recoating. But like I said, it's not. All these parts are good to go. The one thing that does definitely need to be repowder coated is our subframe. From all of that gunk leaking on it, she's quite rusty. So let's strip it in the powder coat strip tank, give it a good sandblast, and get it repowder coated. Right out of the stripper tank, this thing is pretty disgusting. So let's head on over to the sandblast cabinet and get her blasted up. Very rarely does this blast cabinet get used to its full potential, being that it's so big, but I think today we're gonna use the majority of it. We're using about half. I still, to this day, do not know why I bought such a big cabinet. And just like that, subframe is out of the blast cabinet. Let's get it powder coated. We're gonna go nice OEM. It's called a Blackjack from Prismatic Powders. You guys will see here in a minute. Very OEM looking color. I used to mess everything up and do gloss, or high gloss black on everything, but let's be honest, OEM is more of a satin black, flat black, satin black type of finish. Low, very low gloss, and it looks much better. So this cures at 375 degrees for 15 minutes. And as you can see here, it says, cure time begins once the part reaches temperature. So you need a temp gun. The frame is subframe is fully coated and ready for the oven. 375, 15 minutes, and we can reassemble. Subframe is out of the oven, fully cooled down. Let's get all the goodies back on. Look at the contrast, man. The beautiful, kind of refinished, refurbished aluminum control arms against the brand new subframe. That is a look to die for. Well, that is not bad for a quick little Sunday refresh. Here is how this subframe looks before. I know it's not perfect. If this is a full resto, that would have been zinced. Bolts would have been zinced. That would have been repaired. That would have been glass beaded, zinc there, so on and so forth. But not every car in the world can be a full-on, full-blown, 2-year freaking restoration. This is acceptable for this car. It looks amazing. All the rust issues are taken care of. We're good to go. You know, Sundays are a really good day to do random maintenance on random vehicles. Now that our main project for the day is done, let's have some fun. So this here is my true daily. It is a 2015 GMC Sierra 2500. AT4 is what the sub model of this old girl is. I've had this truck forever. You guys probably remember I rebuilt this thing. Well, not really rebuilt, but I bought it, fixed it on the channel. The only thing it needed was a bedside. I put a whole new bed on it, painted the bed, did the lift, wheels and tires. I know she's a little hot boy. This was years ago when I built her, but I still love it. It's been a great truck. When all of the race cars and all the random cars are broken, this is the truck that never lets me down. Never once, I don't think, has it let me down. So I want to give her some love. It does have a check engine light, no idea why. And there's a couple other little things that I've been doing over the last few weeks to try to make it a little bit cooler and better. I want to be proud of the truck, you know? I might do some new wheels and tires. I've had these on here since day one. So they're a little bit beat up. Also, when I first got this truck, I wrapped the chrome mirror stuff black. I recently replaced those with a set of painted black ones. Looks 1,000 times better. And I did also wrap the door handles. Now these things are extremely faded, stained, nasty, disgusting, peeling wrap, not in great shape whatsoever. I was cruising eBay the other day, like I always do, and I ended up ordering a set of black ones of these, painted black. So I want to go ahead and get those things swapped out. I bought some window visors for it. I love window visors. They look great. They're actually, something like this, they're actually useful and beneficial. So I want to get some window visors installed as well. Let's go ahead and get these door handles swapped out. Pretty sure all we need to do is pop that cover off. And there should be a Torx head. Yep, there's a Torx head right there. Pull that Torx head off, and we should be able to get these things swapped out very, very, very easily. Now, if this is the same size as an Evo, it's a T30, and it is not. I'm betting it's a T25. Yes, it is a T25. The Torx is off. I did not drop it inside the door. Now that comes off. And that comes off. See how quality these things are. eBay's so hit and miss. Sometimes they'll be good eBay parts, other times junk. Look to be pretty freaking decent, man. All right. And it looks like on my first try, I pulled out the right ones. Let me show you guys the difference. Before, new, after, new. That is a massive difference.
Definitely gonna need my Gillette antiperspirant spray. Because in this video, I'm gonna show you how to replace old or broken door handle.
I've been asking Q&As before how I learn how to do things.
Silverado, Yukon, or Sierra.
I can't figure out how to get this door handle back in. Alrighty, let's give this a shot. Got a little loop here, some string. Great. That didn't work. Oh man, finally got it installed. So there's a new one, and I think it's pretty obvious as to why I'm replacing the door handles. Those things are freaking crusty. Just got all of the door handles installed. First one took like 30 minutes. The others took about 2 minutes each. Once you understand how to do it, it's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and slap on the rain visors on the truck. So I already did the driver's side. Funny enough, it's actually the next day. When I first opened these up, I thought they applied the double side tape on the wrong side. These are the in-channel, meaning they don't attach on the outside, but yet they attach on the inside of the seal with the double side tape and some little clips. So here's the driver's side with them installed, and here's the passenger side, of course, without them installed. These things are actually a really, really nice, high quality unit. I'm impressed. Those guys went on perfectly. They sit in the channel. There's really no way of them ever falling off, which is very handy. And you could pretty much bend them in half. They consider them shatterproof. So when you're installing them, you kind of have to bend it in half to get it in the channel, but it's not a big deal because, like I said, they don't break. So firstly, we need to clean the channel. I have IPA on this towel here, Get all the dirt and grime out of there so it's got something to stick to. As you can see, they're quite dirty. They say to insert the front of it first. And then you roll up the window. They say to leave the window up for a few hours, but that's all you gotta do. Pretty simple. Now that right there is a good looking truck. New door handles, new mirror caps, the rain visors. The only thing I wish I could fix today is this. Factory, this is chrome. I wrapped it black. I'll probably remove it one day, get it sanded down real good, or maybe if it's, no, it's gotta be plastic. I was gonna say if it's steel, we could powder coat it, but I'll probably paint that piece as well. Wrap is good on a vehicle you can maintain regularly, but it's my truck, it's my daily. This thing sits outside nonstop. Never once is it stored indoors. So for something like this, paint is definitely the way to go. A company called Bosscom sent over their diagnostic tool. This is more than just like an O'Reilly's type of scanner. This is a full-on diagnostic tool. You can do brake bleed procedures with it. Quite a bit more spendy as well. I think it's about 250 bucks. Let's see if it's worth the hype. Now keep in mind what I'm used to using is a $2,200 Autel scanner, very high-end scanner. But this guy might be a nice little versatile, not massive unit to lug around. So this is the IF745 model. This guy can do oil resets, BMS resets, ABS brake bleeding procedures, electric parking brake resets, steering angle sensor relearns, and throttle TPS resets. Let's plug it into the truck and see how versatile and easy it is to use. All right, she fired up. So we have the diagnose section, special function, and a bunch of other stuff as well. American, the only American vehicle I own. Looks like it does have the automatic VIN read, which is handy as always. So we got an air temp sensor code, engine controls, ignition, that don't make any sense. Control power, off timer performance. Interesting. Let's clear them and see if they stay away. Went on a drive. I don't know if the codes are going to be gone for good, but they definitely stayed away for a few miles. If you want to pick up one of these Bosscom units, I wouldn't say it's quite on the level, of course, as the Autel scanner, but it's a tenth of the price. I just checked the price, 220 bucks. This is a very capable unit for the price. So I will go ahead and link it down below. Hope you guys enjoyed today's nice, chill, relaxed, laid back Sunday video. I feel like every Sunday I say I'm not going to go to the shop and work, but there's always something. There's always a little bit of something to do at the shop. And it's nice to relax and just chill for once. And it was, of course, very nice to get my new door handles on the truck and fix the check engine light. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We should be good. Hopefully get the motor back in the Evo tomorrow. That's the goal. The clutch shows up. If it shows up in the morning, motor, trans, T-case, and maybe our new refreshed subframe, we'll be back in. We'll see. I'll see you guys then.